Okay, I'm calling this meeting the Department of Information Resources Board to order. The time is 9:59 a.m. Shelley, would you please call the roll for floor?
Doug Gadsden.
Here.
Jeffrey Allison. Brian Coversmith.
Here.
Stephen Frankie.
Here.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Working on the microphone.
Yeah.
Got the double mute problem. Yeah, there is.
Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm here.
Daniel Esmedia.
Here.
Andrew Friedrich.
Yep.
Keith Coleman.
Here.
Sylvia Hernandez Kaufman.
Here.
Thank you for the report.
Yep. This DIR board meeting has a hybrid meeting structure that is compliant with the Open Meetings Act. This meeting takes place at the physical location identified by the DIR agenda, with me as the presiding board officer and certain DIR staff on the premises. Further, this meeting permits the participation of the public either in person at this physical location or through Zoom at the Zoom link provided in the DIR agenda. For Zoom attendees, video and audio of the physical premises of the open meeting and of DIR board members or speaking panelists who are participating by Zoom may be seen and heard through Zoom. For those in attendance here at the Clements Building, you'll see that monitors and speakers have been set up to ensure that you may view the video of the board member participating by Zoom from the audience. DIR staff presenting to the board at this meeting will present either in person or presenting through Zoom. Their video and audio will be seen and audible through this room by way of the monitors and speakers that are set up. Public comment may be given either in person or through Zoom. If you plan to provide public comment in person, please ensure that you have indicated your intent to do so on the sign-in sheet at the table at the entryway. For those of you participating by Zoom who indicated during registration that you would like to provide public comment, you will be called by name to do so later in the meeting. Until that time, all Zoom attendees will remain muted. This ensures an orderly process so the board can hear your comment fully. The general chat function in Zoom has been disabled to ensure DIR's compliance with Open Meetings Act requirements. Attendees, please do not attempt to communicate with the DIR board or each other through any other Zoom messaging or question and answer functionality that may be available to you. If you would like to address DIR's board, please ensure that you indicated during your registration or by the sign-up sheet at the door you would like to provide public comment. Board members participating by Zoom, you must also have your video on at all times to ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act. However, please make sure you are muted unless speaking. This will minimize disruptions and echoes. You will need to unmute yourself when you are speaking. Board members, voting will be taken during this meeting by roll call, and when you make a second or motion, regardless of whether you're on video or here in the building, please state your name clearly for the record. This ensures that DIR staff have a reliable and accurate recording of the motion. DIR's board is authorized to convene an executive session in certain situations. I'm now recessing the open portion of this board meeting so the board may meet in executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act to consult with its attorney as allowed by Texas Government Code Section 551.071 and to consider specific personnel matters related to DIR's executive director under Texas Government Code Section 551.074. At this time, we'll take a short break so that the board can leave this open meeting. The board will then meet in executive session in a closed virtual meeting. No action will be taken. At the end of the executive session, we will call the open meeting back to order and continue with our agenda. Shelley, please send the board members the information to log into the virtual executive session online. All non-board member attendees who are physically present at the DIR board meeting, please exit into the vestibule until such time as DIR staff members call you back into their Zoom attendees. You may stay in the open meeting Zoom until DIR board returns from the executive session. DIR will be muted and all video streaming of both the physical location of the board meeting and all virtually participating board members will end until the meeting is resumed. During this time, Zoom attendees will see a slide indicating the board is in executive session. Upon DIR's return from the executive session, video streaming and audio will resume for all Zoom attendees. The time is 10:04 a.m. Shelley, will you please stop the video stream of the DIR board room? Okay, I'm calling the meeting back to order following the executive session. Shelley, would you please call the roll with confirmed quorum?
Ben Gapsky,
Here.
Jeffrey Ellison, Frank Coppersmith,
Here.
Stephen Frankie,
Here.
Jeffrey Tayon,
Here.
Daniel Avitia,
Here.
Andrew Friedrichs,
Yep.
Keith Holman,
Here.
Sylvia Hernandez Kaufman.
We
We have four.
Good. The board did not vote nor take action in the executive session. The time is 10:20 a.m. The department will retain a certified agenda for the closed session reflecting a statement of the subject matter of each deliberation and record of any further action to be taken. We will now continue with our agenda. The board has determined that an action item is necessary to appoint interim executive director. Currently under my pen, Tony is the interim executive director, but the board has authority to appoint that director officially and the state chief executive director and state chief information officer until such time as the board appoints a person to the role permanent. So in light of Mr. Saueroff's outstanding work, may I have a motion to appoint Anthony E. Saueroff as the interim DIR executive director and state chief information officer?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
May I have a second?
Frank Coppersmith, I second.
Any discussion? If not, please call the roll for vote.
Ben Gapsky,
Yes. Aye.
Jeffrey Ellison, Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon,
Aye.
Daniel Avitia. Oh, sorry. Motion passed.
Thank you very much. Members, in your board books are the minutes from the October board meeting, and you have had a chance to review them. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
This is Stephen Frankie, so move.
May I have a second?
Mr. Jeffrey Tayon, I second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call roll for vote.
Ben Gapsky,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Saueroff, congratulations on the interim appointment. Got a lot of work to do to bridge the gap until we have a permanent position in place, but would you please give us your report at the State of the Union?
Yes, sir. First, thanks, Mr. Chairman and board members for your confidence and to lead the agency through this time of change. Appreciate it. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and board members, and thank you all for being here today for our first meeting of the new year. And my first meeting served as interim executive director now. I'll start by saying how much I appreciate your support as we move through a busy and important time for DIR. With our last meeting in October, the agency has had a full plate. We look a little different than we did back then, but we're continuing our day-to-day work serving state agencies, higher ed, and local government entities, while also moving forward on many initiatives. Those include the transition of statewide cyber functions to Texas Cyber Command, multiple statewide AI initiatives that came out of the last legislative session, IT procurement training development, website modernization efforts related to House Bill 5195. And just to make all that more fun, we're preparing to move out of the 13th floor while at WPC so that it can be renovated. I'll start with the Texas Cyber Command transition. As you know, we've been working closely with Chief TJ White and his team as they build that new agency from the ground up. Our teams have worked hard to help Cyber Command get the foundational pieces in place. This includes aligning operational processes, reviewing security-related contracts and rulemaking, all while ensuring that together we continue to deliver uninterrupted service for state agencies, higher ed, and local government entities. I continue to be impressed with the professionalism and adaptability of DIR staff during this significant shift. On the AI side, we've made meaningful progress in operationalizing the many new responsibilities assigned to us in the last session. We're moving quickly but responsibly to build the foundation for statewide AI programs. That includes advancing AI literacy and training initiatives, establishing the new AI division, and developing the technical architecture and governance framework for the AI sandbox environment. Our procurement team continues to make progress toward the development of the IT procurement certification program. Dedicated staff have been hired, curriculum drafting has begun, and foundational program components are being developed. The target for the initial program launch for that program is the fall of this year. House Bill 5195 requires state agencies, including institutions of higher ed, to assess and improve their websites and digital service portals for accessibility, usability, and functionality. As required, DIR has published guidance for this initiative on our website. HB 5195 also authorizes DIR to establish an agency work group. That work group has been established with members from agencies and institutions of higher ed. They've already reviewed and provided feedback on the resources published on our website. Lastly, on this item, we're leveraging the IRDR, the Information Resources Deployment Review, as the method for agencies to meet the reporting requirement for their website modernization efforts. All info related to this effort is on our website. I mentioned the renovation project for us here on the 13th floor at WPC. We have folks across multiple departments, primarily Team Paco though, working hard and coordinating to get us moved out of WPC. We'll have folks moving to various other DIR offices, including some temporary space in the Thomas Jefferson Rusk building. We'll be moving out of this building sometime in the mid-April timeframe, and we're planning to be out for about a year. I also want to recognize the continued leadership and progress of our other teams here at DIR that I haven't yet mentioned. They've also sustained strong momentum in their own areas, even as the agency takes on new responsibilities and goes through other changes. Our efforts in areas of emerging technology education continue to expand. Our data programs are engaging more agencies than ever in improving data quality, governance, and open data participation. And our customer experience, training, and outreach initiatives remain a key part of how we support agencies navigating both technological changes and new statutory requirements. Even with everything new on our plate, they've kept their momentum strong. Across all these efforts, I've been very proud to see the consistency, professionalism, and teamwork that defines DIR. Our team balances major strategic initiatives while delivering dependable, high-quality services every day. It speaks to the talent and commitment we have here at DIR. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update, and thank you again for your leadership and support. I look forward to the discussions today and continuing to keep you all informed as we move ahead. Thank you.
I think next we have an update on new DIR employees.
All right, we'll talk through our new DIR employees since our last board meeting. We have Michael Myers in our CTO Digital Transformation Office, Tracy Ferentz in the Chief AI and Innovation Office, Josephine Green, CFO Accounts Payable Office, Conrad Swan, our new CFO in the Chief Financial Office, Philip Vaughn, CDO Data Literacy Program, Tanya Lopez, again, CDO Office, Data Strategy and Implementation, Melissa Dodson, CPO Cooperative Procurements, Kimberly Wynn McConnick, another CPO member, SCS Contracts Division, Roxanne Coulterman, CPO Procurement as a Service, Jesse Garcia, CPO Contracts Management Office, Amir Qureshi, CPO Contracts Management Office, Tina Marie Aguiar, CPO Contracts Management Office, and Danielle Vivolo, COO Cybersecurity Operations. Welcome to all of our new employees. We're happy to have you here. We need you to help us out with the work on our plates. Happy you're here. Thank you.
And with that, I think the next agenda item is an update from the Chief Procurement Office.
Sit up a little bit higher. It's a little low. Good morning, everyone. I am Lisa Masick. I am the Chief Procurement Officer here at DIR. I feel a little bit like Judith Ann this morning. I have 4 board actions for you this morning. and I am going to jump right in really quickly. Our first board action item is a recommendation for STS contract for enterprise for technology solution services. We have 3 vendors we are wanting to award today. First vendor is Accenture LLP, Deloitte Consulting LLP, and KPMG LLP. The award to Accenture, Deloitte, and KPMG will provide multi-supplier application development, maintenance, and staff augmentation services through our STS program. Upon DIR board approval, the effective date will be the date of the last signature, anticipated hopefully this week. The initial term will continue through August 31st of 2030, with an option to extend through August 31st of 2034. Transition will begin upon the effective date and continue through August 31st of 2026, with services commencing on September of 2026. Based on the multi-award approach, the contract value is 0. Since TSS services are completely voluntary to our customers, and DIR cannot determine at what point each customer will utilize these services. The spend with any particular vendor. However, the anticipated program value is anticipated to be around $910 million based on past expenditures from 2023 estimates. I ask the board to consider this action as presented.
May I have a
Lisa,
motion? Go
Lisa,
ahead.
who's in this position now? Who's currently providing these services?
We currently have 1 vendor providing services to our customers in the TSS space, and that is Deloitte Consulting.
Okay, great. So this gives the our clients 2 more options.
More choices for, and hopefully will increase competition for our customers as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Hearing nothing else, may I have a motion to approve the award of the TSS contracts DIR-STS-TSS-699, DIR-STS-TSS-700, and DIR-STS-TSS-701 as presented, and delegate authority to the executive director or designee to execute the contract.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
May I have a second?
This is Frank Coppersmith, seconded.
Any discussion? If not, please call roll for vote.
Ben Gadke,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Teo.
Aye.
Motion.
Thank you.
My second action item today is for what we call Sourcing Group 1. That particular contract is with Symbio Ecosystems. They have been providing sourcing and transition assistance that strategically and tactically assist DIR in procurements and implementation of the STS program. The primary purpose of the proposed amendment is to extend the contract term for 1 year, and that is a period of performance extension through February 28th of 2027. The contract was initially executed in May of 2023, and the current performance runs through February 28th, 26. Amendment 2 is to extend the contract term for 1 year through February 28th of 2027. The current contract value is $9,960,000. The amendment does not increase the total contract value, and the amended contract value will remain at $9,960,000. I ask the board to consider this action as presented.
Just to confirm, 9,960,000 or 7,960,000?
$7,960,000. Sorry,
Okay.
got ahead of my skis.
That works. That's good. Seeing no questions, may I have a motion to approve the amendment to contract term SOW-01-FY23-SA 1002 as presented and delegate authority to the executive director or designee to execute the contract.
Mr. Chair, this is Stephen Frankie. So moved.
May I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I second the motion.
Any discussion? Please call roll for vote.
Ben Gatsky,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, action item number 3 is the contract amendment to security operations contract. This contract provides managed security services with SAIC. The contract provides security policies, oversight, and monitoring of the data center services infrastructure. The purpose of this amendment for the security operations contract is to provide privileged access management services for the public cloud manager contract with NTT Data Services Americas, which commences June 1st of 2026. This amendment includes pricing for additional software tools and implementation services, plus the ongoing management of the privileged access management services. The estimated contract value, including optional renewals, is $111.53 million. The amendment increases the estimated contract value by $1.25 million to $112.78 million. I ask the board to consider this action as presented.
And Lisa, who pays for the amendment? How is the amendment paid for?
These are through cost recovery services.
So it's user fees?
Well, STS customers. Yeah, the STS customers. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hearing no other questions, may I have a motion to approve amendment number 8 to the security operations contract DIR-SEC-OPS-MSA-434 as presented and delegate authority to the executive director or designee to execute the contract amendment.
This is Frank Coppersmith. So moved.
May I have a second?
This is Stephen Frankie. I second.
Thank you. Please call roll for vote if there's no discussion.
Ben Gatsky,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, my last board action item is the contract amendment to review Texas agency Texan contracts for telecommunications. We are bringing you an extension action item for 4 of the 22 Texan contracts. The initial term for the Texan contracts was 4 years, with the right to extend for up to 4 more years. Contracts generating sales revenue will be extended for an additional two-year term from their current expiration date, while contracts with zero Cs will be extended for a 1-year term. These contracts are part of DIR's consolidated telecommunications systems. The 4 contracts that we have today are Foremost Telecommunications Corporation, In Contact, Kajit Incorporated, and Unite Private Networks, DBA as Segra. I ask the board to consider this action item as presented.
Hearing no questions, may I have a motion to approve amendments to Texan 2021 telecommunications contracts as presented and delegate authority to the executive director or designee to execute the contract amendment.
This is Stephen Frankie. So moved.
May I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I second.
Any discussion? If not, please call roll for vote.
Ben Gatsky,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon,
Aye.
motion passed.
Thank you.
My last item, as in all board meetings, we look at, take a quick look at cooperative sales for the agency. As you can see, this slide summarizes through Q1 of fiscal year 2026 for the cooperative contracts purchases. As you can see, there is an overall sales of $882 million, which is 11.2% or $111 million decrease compared to the same quarter last year. We've seen customer sector spend be consistent compared to the same quarter overall, with state agencies and local governments as the top contributors. As for variances in spend, we are seeing an increase in spending for local government at around $333 million, or a 7.8% increase. And that is the last item I have for you today.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is an update from the General Counsel Office.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. My name is Joshua Godby. I'm the general counsel here at DIR. With me, as always, whenever we're dealing with rulemaking, is Christy Koenig-Brisky from our office. As we previewed at the last meeting, we took a little bit of a pause from rulemaking during the sunset process because we knew that there would be a host of rule changes, rule amendments, possibly new rules that we would need to do after the sunset process and the legislative session. We started that process at our last meeting. We will be continuing it here and for most likely a number of meetings still yet to come. We appreciate y'all's input on all of these. We will have 3 rule considerations for the board today. The first of those is a new one for the board in the sense that it will be to propose amendments to TAC 213 to go out for public comment. We will then take in that public comment with the thought of then coming back to the board at the next meeting with a proposal for formal adoption of those amendments. The TAC 213 amendments concern digital accessibility, and it's to harmonize the recent changes in federal law and federal regulation that state agencies have to follow, and the statutory mandate that we produce a rule that puts all those out for state agencies to follow. The second and third rules that we will be bringing, the board heard originally at our last meeting. We have now sent them out for public comment. We have taken in that public comment. We have made some small clarification and non-substantive changes based on that public comment, and we will be now asking the board to approve full adoption of 1 rule amendment and 1 new rule. The rule amendment will be for TAC 218, which clarifies the data governance assessments in light of some statutory changes this past session. The new rule will be TAC 219, which is a new creation of an AI subchapter within our rule that was mandated by statute, and that we've worked with the AI Council on and received public comment and spoke to the board about at the last meeting. This includes a code of ethics for AI usage. It includes minimum standards for heightened scrutiny artificial intelligence systems. So with that, I'll turn it over to Christy to go into more detail, and we can move into board actions.
Thank you so much. My name is Christy Koenig-Brisky, and I'm Assistant General Counsel here at DIR. As Josh mentioned, our first action item today is a proposal action for One Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 213, affectionately called TAC 213. This is a proposal action resulting from the statutorily required quadrennial rule review that looks to whether the rule needs to continue to exist, and if so, whether it needs to be amended in some way to address changes in process or law. As it currently exists, TAC 213 incorporates by reference Section 508, which are the federal rules requiring federal agencies to have accessible information and communications technology. Under statute, DIR is required to establish accessibility rules for electronic and information resources, and in doing so must consider relevant federal statutes, including Section 508. So this is how our current rules came to be. However, in 2024, the Department of Justice passed the DOJ Title II rules, which are federal rules that apply to state governments, including any agency of the state. So these apply to state agencies and institutions of higher education, regardless of their incorporation into TAC 213. I am happy to report that we've identified that TAC 213 needs to continue to exist. However, there are a number of changes that need to result, including incorporating by reference those DOJ Title II rules. This is simply to ensure that all accessibility requirements within the state of Texas that apply to state agencies and institutions of higher education are in a single unified location. In addition to this incorporation by reference and that standard cleanup related to rule reviews, there are two other substantive changes that I want to bring to your attention, including that we are creating a new section in subchapter A that addresses DIR-only responsibilities. Previously, these responsibilities were duplicated in both subchapters B, which are state agencies, and subchapter C, which is institutions of higher education. These responsibilities do not have anything to do with state agency or institution of higher education responsibilities. So we elected to create a singular consolidated section for the department only responsibilities to ensure efficiency and consistency. We will also be transforming the Electronic and Information Resources Accessibility Coordinator, or the IRAC role, into the Digital Accessibility Officer role. This is not changing the substance of the IRAC role, but it is clarifying the responsibilities to align with digital accessibility best practices that these individuals are already doing within their agency. So this is just making sure that all of that aligns. These rules do apply to both state agencies and institutions of higher education. And as required by law, we did consult with the Information Technology Council for Higher Education, or ITCHE, to determine whether there would be an impact to institutions of higher education as a result of the proposed rule. Following this consultation, we determined there was no impact to institutions of higher education. There is also no fiscal impact to state agencies as a result of the proposal of TAC 213. If the board does approve this action, then we will publish the rule in the Texas Register for public comment and return to the board at a future meeting to adopt. Are there any questions? Hearing none, then I would request that the board consider this motion as presented.
Matt, motion to approve the proposed rule amendments to 1 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 213, and authorize publication in the Texas Register for 30 days for public comment.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
May I have a second?
This is Stephen Frankie, a second.
Any discussion? Not, please call roll for vote.
Ben Gatsky,
Aye.
Fred Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our second action is going to be a amendment to the TAC 218 regarding data governance assessments that results from the statutory amendment to the statutory language from our Sunset Bill in the 89th session. These were proposed to the board at our October board meeting and then published in the Texas Register for public comment. We did receive one comment requesting that DIR accept a third-party vendor certification as evidence of a completed data governance assessment that would be similar to the TextRamp certification process. However, we declined to make this change as the data governance assessment requires a level of review and analysis of the state agency data by DIR that's distinct from the TextRamp analysis. And this is also a biennial item, so we need to ensure the uniformity of the data that we are collecting. Are there any questions? Hearing none, then I would request the board consider this motion as presented.
May I have a motion to approve the adoption of the rule amendments to 1 TAC Chapter 218 and authorize publication in the Texas Register?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayan. I so move.
May I have a second?
This is Frank Coppersmith, seconded.
Any discussion? Not, please call roll for vote.
Ben Gatsky,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our final action item is to adopt the newly created Chapter 219 or RAI rules to implement the legislative requirements of SB 1964 out of the 89th legislature. These were proposed at our October board meeting and published in the Texas Register for public comments. As you would expect, we did receive several comments in response to this from both state and private entities alike, a comprehensive list of which may be found on the preamble beginning on page 40 of the books of. Many of the requested changes did exceed the statutory scope that we were authorized to engage, which means we legally cannot make that change. However, a few of these did necessitate non-substantive changes to clarify existing language that was proposed. All of these clarify the language proposed in some small way to ensure that DIR's initial intent is clear. In some scenarios, DIR is required to repropose rules as a result of changes. However, because these are non-substantive, we do not need to repropose this rule. And the test of whether something needs to be reproposed or not is whether the public would have been put on notice of the proposed changes. This doesn't change the scope of the applicability. It simply clarifies it, or that it would exceed the initial proposed scope of the rule. As I said, it does not go beyond what was initially proposed. It simply clarifies what was already there and does not expand the authority that was already granted under it. So that is, if there are any questions, then I would request.
At one, how does this fit into the federal landscape of AI rulemaking and lawmaking at the moratorium deadline? How does that fit in?
Of course. So we, of course, have our chief privacy officer here at DIR, as well as Tony occupying multiple roles, that consider what the federal landscape looks like, as well as the sort of NIST landscape of AI governance. And so to that extent, as well as what SB 1964 actually authorized us to do, we ensured an extremely narrow and tailored scope of these rules to make sure that we weren't, first off, overstepping the authorization of SB 1964, and second off, were in alignment with sort of the NIST boundaries as well as the federal expectations regarding AI.
I think what's important to note is nothing in the rule limits the use of AI. What it does is it clarifies how state agencies should govern themselves when they do use it so that they're using it responsibly. But nothing prevents them from using it how they choose to, just within those governance standards.
Are there any other questions?
You received quite a few comments.
Yes, sir.
You've obviously made decisions about those comments, declining quite a few of them, making some minor revisions to the rule along the way. Were those decisions that the agency made about which comments to accept or decline, were those communicated back to the people who were making the comments?
No, typically we do not have that level of interactive engagement with commenters because the comments do provide a significant amount of information such that we are able to understand and clarify what they are requesting out the gate. And so we typically do not invite that level of interaction with our commenters. No, sir. But by proposing it, by adopting it, that preamble is actually included within the Texas Register. So by some extent, they will receive information regarding how or why we did not accept their change.
Your response to their comments that we see in the book, are those going to be published in the Register?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Christy, very similar question that was just asked, but just curious as to how many state agencies provided comments.
I believe we received two comments from two separate state agencies. Yes.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Were all the other comments, were those primarily from private industry?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, then I would request the board consider the motion as presented.
I have a motion to approve the adoption, the creation of One Tech Chapter 219 and authorized publication in the Texas Register.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayan. I so move.
May I have a second?
This is Frank Coppersmith, seconded.
Any discussion? If not, please call roll for vote.
Frank Gapsky,
Aye.
Frank Halberstadt,
Aye.
Stephen Frank,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor,
Aye.
motion passed.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you, Mr. Chair and board.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is an update from the Chief Financial Office. And for the board, welcome, Conrad.
Nice to meet you. Thank you, Chairman.
Oh, yeah, I got the opposite problem with Lisa. I'll just deal with that.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. For the record, I'm Conrad Swan, Chief Financial Officer. Thank you, Chairman, for the welcome. I'm here to present your financial update at November 2025. And while at it, we will ask for an action item at the end for your consideration of some staff augmentation budget changes that we'd like to make. And Shell, if you go to the next page. Oh, okay. And so what you're looking at here is just sort of, again, our financial standing at November 30th. That first row, if you'll direct your eyes to it, you'll see that we're holding pretty steady in terms of our revenue estimates that were designed for that original budget that was approved. We're showing an increase of about $3.5 million. That increase is mostly from our STS services. You heard from Lisa's presentation, that's offset by a little bit of our co-op revenue that it's in decline. And some of that decline is in that cost of services as well from co-op revenues, but also some of our telecom. But the offset still nets us in those cost of services about $2 million. So between those first two rows, we've created a net of $5.3 million that can be used for DIR costs that have been beneath that line. I would just focus your attention mostly on that far right column when you're sort of looking at how DIR is using its money. What you see there when you get to the bottom is about $9.8 million in savings. That's what we're forecasting at this time for budget savings. You can see most of those savings are happening just between two areas. You can account for $9.2 million, $9.3 million of that total. And those are your security services under C12 and your AI services under A13. No danger of losing that money. It is UBable, but at this point, using some conservative forecasting, we're sitting at 9.8. As we move into future quarters and we get a little more aggressive and are thinking about what won't get spent, you may see additional savings here. So at this point, it's about where I would expect us to be. And so between the $5 million that we created from revenue and cost of goods sold activity and the budget savings, we produced about a $15 million change from your original budget to what you're seeing now. Okay.
Positive change. Is that right?
Positive change, correct. Savings. On the next slide, what we're showing you here is sort of a pro forma income statement, sort of to predict where our revenues are heading, what our expenses are going to look like as you've seen them on that prior page.
And so what you're seeing on that first row is the money that we brought into this year at the end of 25, so $71 million. And then just our forecasting exercises are what you're seeing on that next line in terms of net revenue. And so as we've spoken to some of our savings, you're seeing some reducing there. But really what's most important is that green row that you see in ending fund balances. What we can predict at this time, using some conservative forecasting that we have at this time, is we're staying in the black for all of our fund balances. There will be money there at the end of the year if the trend holds. Is it a lot? Well, not really. That's what the next two rows at the bottom sort of help to represent. That second to last row is the max that we could carry into that next year of 27. And so the final is just the math, the arithmetic to go, where are you compared to that max? And so as you can see, we're not in a positive on any of those rows. What that might indicate at this time is we won't have an opportunity for MOS swaps, which is something that we typically do to swap out our excess collections for general revenue that we can get back to the state. So at this point in time, with the conservative forecasting we're doing, that may not happen. But again, we get a little more aggressive in asking our divisions what really won't spend as the year moves on. So I expect these things to change. And with that, just the last item to present to you is our action item. This is our ask for the staff augmentations that I alluded to. We're looking to seek out $650,000 to finish out the year. Most of our staff augmentation that we set up at the beginning budget were, our conservative estimate of how much we could spare, which would get us through about March. And if we want to retain many of those staff augs through August 31st, we have to make an adjustment to our budget. And that's what we're seeking here. That second bullet gives you some idea about where our staff augs needs are. Tex ramp, our CFO office for GL, AP accountants, things of that nature will give you an idea of what we're looking for. These things are tightly, in line with salaries for personnel. When the personnel aren't there, well, then the staff aug has to ramp up. And so to that point, that's how we would fund these things. It truly is a net zero impact, at least at the bottom line. What you're seeing is salary savings moved to an increase for professional services for those staff augmentations, if allowed. And so with that, I will pause for questions on this action item.
How does that affect our salary budget then? I mean, if we're declining it, are we going to be in a position where we're not able to hire people that would be in our full-time employees? I mean, how many full-time employees do we have now versus what we're budgeted to have?
Okay, thank you, Mateo, for that question. I'll start with the first, and I'm going to give my team time to send me a Teams message to answer the second. Lisa. Oh, I got friends in the room that will help me answer you. So to your first question, no, there is no impact. What ends up happening is we budget for salaries as though every individual in that budget will be here for the entirety of the year. So when you have any amount of attrition, whether that be a single month or a series of months, that's a part of your budget that will go unused for that salary to exist. And so for that 1 year, while that attrition is happening, you have a fallout from that budget that you can reconstitute to something else. And in this case, we're asking for about $650,000 of that fallout in budget savings to go towards staff augmentation that finishes through the year. Now, to your question, what happens when you reach the next year is the budget is pristine again. It's not like you gave away that savings to something that's ongoing in which you would need to continue using that savings. You gave it away for a one-time need that lasts through 8/31. So when that 8/31 need is gone, it's back in your pristine budget for that FTE. So there is no ill effect of something. Lisa, can you help me with how many FTEs that we have today? Sure. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Lisa Jammer, Chief People and Culture Officer. As of today, DIR has a total of 281 employees. active employees, that is. And we are authorized to go up to 325 employees. And that is before we do the 10% that can be approved by the board.
So if we shift this budget money around, how does that affect your ability to hire another 40 some employees?
No effect, right? So we're only shifting actualized savings. We're not shifting any future savings. So through this moment in time, 6 months into the year, or even as of this presentation, that's through November, we have already actualized the savings. Salaries that went unspent in September, October, November, they will not be spent.
I understand now. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Chairman, if I may, Conrad, good information. Using salary savings for staff augmentation and other things is a common practice within state agencies. Does this still leave you with a healthy balance in salary savings after the expenditure?
It does. We're forecasting salary savings to the tune of around $3 million. That number is a forecast today because it's prospective of months that haven't happened yet, right? And so that gap in employment, those 40 FTEs, some number of those, if we're being honest, will still stay. With other people coming in and out, you're always going to have some forecast for the future. And so there is a healthy balance. If we have a need for other things, we could tap into that.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Of the 281 FTEs that we have today, how many of those are going to be transferred to Cyber Command?
So we have roughly around 46 to be exact, that are transferring to Texas Cyber Command.
So effective, I guess, March 1, our FTE count will be around 230.
At 46, the 46 that will transfer to Texas Cyber Command is of that 325, right? That cap. We're transferring 46 FTEs to Texas Cyber Command. I believe as of today, that the actual number of folks is 31. It fluctuates 1 or 2 here and there. I think 31 of those FTEs are filled. So of those numbers, Lisa gave it 281 and 325. We're transferring 31 and 46.
Okay, so we'll have 250 FTEs next week.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
And remember, Tayon, not to bore you with the math, right? When we actually report to the state auditor's office about our utilization of FTEs, there's some algebra involved. So napkin math certainly looks at around 250, right? What we said, but don't be surprised if you see some of our reporting reflecting something different, because it takes into account hourly time spent. And so I just didn't want you surprised by that at some point.
It's an FTE, full-time equivalent, not a head count necessarily.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I would ask for your favorable consideration of our action item as presented.
I have a motion to approve budget amendment to increase the FY 2026 professional fee staff augmentation budget by $650,000 with an equal offset reduction applied to salaries and no net increase to the board approved operating budget.
The Stephen Frankie, so moved.
May I have a second?
This is Frank Coppersmith, seconded.
Any discussion? Not, please call roll for vote.
Ben Gatsky,
Aye.
Fred Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome again. Next on the agenda is an update from the Chief Information Security Office.
It is a little low. Good morning, Chairman and board members. My name is Susie Hilliard, and I am the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer for DIR, and I'm here to present the Chief Information Security Office update. A few highlights that we've had for you We did renew our interagency contracts with all of our RSOCs. And then we also launched cybersecurity essentials for the electrical grid training. We worked with Texas Tech to create that training and deliver it. Cyber Command transition, TXCC transition, we did get the MOU or IEC. I've heard it referred to as both. That is been signed, and we are actively working on transition activities. I will say standing up a new agency from scratch is hard. And I want to give really big kudos to echo Tony's comments from earlier to the DIR team and to the Cyber Command team for both working really well and hand in hand on this transition. So everybody's been working at it from the executives down to frontline. So they've done really, really good work. And then cybersecurity incident response team supported the execution of the Department of Emergency Management's GA49 cybersecurity tabletop exercise. That was on November 5th. And they have worked on the after action issues. And then they supported Cyber Command's San Antonio Cyber Week training. That was in December of this year. Even going backwards. Okay, next slide. For governance, risk, and compliance. Okay, we have certified over 1,000 products through the TexRamp fast track process. So that's a huge milestone. I'm really proud of our TexRamp team. Spectrum is also now open for the 2026 security plan submissions. Those are due on June 1st. And so we are actively putting out training and awareness and support for state agencies. And then we also updated the prohibited technology list on January 26th. It includes an additional 26 technologies per direction of the governor, and that is published on our website. Okay, next slide. All right, to wrap my presentation, I wanted to call out the pen tests and security assessments. The number for pen tests, especially for Q1, looks a little bit low. A little bit of context around that. There was a transition in MSS from AT&T to SAIC. And because of the timing and cutoffs of that, it was a little difficult to get things up and going. But as of this week, we have a total of 49 assessments at some point in the process. And then we have a total of 45 pen tests at some point in the process. So things are picking up. Assessment numbers were still usually about right on track. And the reason for that is because the assessment timing goes a little bit longer. So AT&T was able to do more towards the later ends and perform and complete those assessments after the term ended for post-termination assistance. And SAIC was able to get started pretty quickly. So there was a little bit of overlap with the assessments. And I'm happy to answer any questions. If not, this concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is an update from Chief Operations Office.
This one looked a little warm. A little more my speed. Morning, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Dale Richardson, DIR's Chief Operations Officer. I'll be reporting on service delivery for Q1 FY26 on both our shared technology services and our communication technology services programs. Starting with the first slide there, for shared technology services, this chart measures the percentage of service level agreements, or SLAs, attained each month by all our service providers in the STS program. And for Q1, we achieved over 97% service level attainment, which is pretty steady and where we want to be. Next slide. This looks at our customer monthly satisfaction. The chart shows the number of customers that rate the overall service they receive as acceptable, good, or excellent each month. And for Q1 FY26, we had another excellent quarter of 100% customer satisfaction. Next slide. Now looking at our communications technology services program, we continue to work with the Texas Facilities Commission to provide voice and data services to the 2 new Capitol complex buildings going up right next door to us. We're going to actually begin cabling out the interior of both buildings in March with an estimated completion of January 2027. Both those buildings still are on target to complete in the summer of 2027. Next slide. Continue to work with the State Preservation Board on their renovation of the Sam Houston building. DIR is being asked to permanently relocate staff in our equipment room out of the Sam Houston building. The equipment room is going to migrate over into a new building that State Preservation Board is actually going to stand up right behind the existing Sam Houston building. And then separately, our staff is going to be relocated over to the new Barbara Jordan building. Next slide. This slide shows the completed work orders by our Communication Technology Services team for Q1. The first chart on the left shows the number of network orders that are placed by our customers for DIR build network services. The chart in the middle shows completed work orders for the centralized managed voice systems on the Capitol complex here. And then the last chart on the right shows a number of cabling projects that were completed in Q1. And then finally, this last slide shows a number of Texan customers with DIR direct build purchases. The pie chart on the left for Q1 FY26 shows a customer base decrease of 11.5% from the previous quarter. And then the pie chart on the right shows Q1 FY26 purchases down 6.1% from Q1 a year ago. That decrease is primarily attributed to a decrease in state agency customers spending less on long distance and toll-free services. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
So the service level miss at December doesn't seem to be affecting the customer satisfaction polling results.
No, sir. Those
That's management through the issues.
correct. Good.
That's all.
All right.
Thank you.
Much better.
Next is a Chief Technology Office update.
Follow Dale's lead over here.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is John Hoffman, and I am DIR's Chief Technology Officer. This morning, I'd like to focus on two areas. First, DIR is a part of Texas's Quality Assurance Team. The QAT is an interagency work group established to provide oversight of the state's largest IT projects. Now, the group is made up of representatives of 4 different agencies, and together they identify the state's large IT projects, which are referred to as Major Information Resource Projects, or MERPs. And then we track the deliverables and budget through the project lifecycle. Next slide. Each year, QAT publishes an annual report due on December 1st. Now, this year, the report summarized efforts on 59 projects during FY25 with an estimated value of $1.9 billion. During FY25, 30 of these major projects were completed. 34 of the 59 projects were within 10% of the original budget and schedule. Next slide. In addition to the report, QAT publishes a dashboard with performance indicators for each of the projects to ensure broad access to the details about these critical projects. Both the report and the dashboard can be found on the QAT website. Next is an update on efforts in the Texas Innovation and Education Center. Now, we continue to support agencies in the understanding of emerging technologies and the benefits it can provide. The AI user group, agencies, and vendors engaged with the lab, as well as the technical areas, continue to grow. Now, DIR has seen great success with an AI Day format, and the most recent event on January 15th was another great day. We continue to evolve the day, and we've seen a shift from initially the day was around what is next generation AI type of solutions to how are these solutions being done. The registration was sold out in a day, and the 200 plus attendees really enjoyed deep dives as well as peer-to-peer sharing. A new format was introduced, which was an extension of the lab environments that we do. It has 16 different AI technology workshops staged for experiential learning. These hands-on sessions allowed participants to engage directly with technology rather than just viewing it on the slides. We did 2 one-hour sessions simultaneously. These had 16 different technologies all at once going. Attendees got to choose which session they wanted to be a part of, and then a second set of those. So a lot of learning, a lot of bandwidth was used. It was quite an event. It was extremely well received, and we were working forward to incorporate that same format in AI Day 6, which is being scheduled in July. But this concludes my comments. Happy to answer any questions.
What's the overall adoption, just high level, I'm not asking for specific, of AI across agencies? Seeing it change so fast in the commercial market, coding and agent.
Absolutely.
What are you saying?
So it certainly varies. I would say a majority of the agencies have initiated their governance, initial adoption, testing out. Typically, Copilot, some of the workforce enhancements are heavily used. We did an AI automated decision system inventory about a year or so ago, and it showed a lot of agencies had 1 to 4 types of AI solutions. Some of the very sophisticated had upwards of 10 or 15. During the DIR effort that interim Executive Director Sauerhoff mentioned, we are going to be getting another inventory in this process that is due at the end of March. So I hope to provide an update there at the next board meeting around what are more updated levels of AI adoption.
What's the temperature around safety and protection of data?
Very high, and that's where it has taken a lot of time to go through the governance. Agencies are diligent and working with the data teams and understanding how is that data, what data is being used, and assurance that whatever tools are being put in there have that control. Any other questions?
I see none.
Thank you all very much.
Next update with Chief Data Office.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Neil Cook, State Chief Data Officer. Next slide, please. So the growing number of high-value data sets available on the Open Data Portal continues to drive a lot of public engagement. And I'll speak to more of that in a minute. We're continually directly engaging, of course, with agency data officers through one-on-one briefings, live demonstrations, and collaborative working sessions. The Data Management Advisory Committee, or DMAC, continues to be a great forum for those conversations grounded in real practical challenges that agencies are facing. This past quarter, we published a new data management white paper to the DIR website entitled License to Skill, the AI Data Quality Protocol. And although that may sound like an action movie, the central message is a little bit less dramatic and quite simple, really, that AI will scale whatever it's given, which of course speaks to the old adage, garbage in, garbage out. Nationally, most, and that's 90% of state CIOs, view data quality as critical, although only about 20% of states have a data quality program. Our white paper positions data quality as the foundation for responsible AI, fiscal stewardship, and public trust. So building on that, we're also launching this year a new data quality pilot initiative. The pilot will ask participating agencies to identify 2 to 5 key data elements, baseline their quality over various dimensions, and then work to improve the quality scores over time through peer-driven problem solving. My role will be to bring those agencies together, keep the conversations focused, surface any patterns we're seeing across agencies, and ultimately turn what's working into shared practices that the state can build on. And I'll report more on that as we get going. Next slide. But the Texas Open Data Portal, the now 1,300 plus data assets available, represent a broad cross-section of agency data, which reflects a continued commitment to transparency and data sharing across the state. And this quarter alone, we saw 424,000 views of these assets with 865 total downloads, 865,000 total downloads. The most significant growth, though, continues to be in API reads, with 8 million recorded this quarter alone. So application programming interfaces allow systems, including chatbots and other applications, to connect directly to the data portal without a person manually visiting the site. And these API views currently account for about 85% of asset activity. So the shift we've seen over these past couple of years toward more machine-to-machine access helps explain the more than 10 million total interactions this quarter alone. And together, these metrics really indicate that the portal is progressively serving as infrastructure, supporting both human users who browse and download the information, as well as automated systems that rely on these structured data feeds. And as a result, maintaining strong data quality standards is, of course, now more important than ever. Next slide. The Texas Data Literacy Program continues to show steady and measurable growth across every participation metric we have. As you know, Level 1 library of foundational courses is complete and provides comprehensive coverage on core data management topics such as governance, quality, privacy, security, and the like. Our Level 2 courses focus more on advanced and applied topics, and that catalog continues to expand. Content development is guided by our cross-agency work group and informed directly by our organizational data literacy assessment, ensuring that what we build is in response to real needs. Engagement remains consistent across all three of our delivery channels, whether it's data officers viewing the materials that we host on our learning management system or the materials that we provide to agencies so they can incorporate them into their own learning management systems. And of course, our quiz-free versions on YouTube are always very popular. To date, our learning management systems have recorded 971 total course completions. Customer feedback remains high with both satisfaction and likelihood to recommend, scoring 4.7 out of 5. And so to summarize this slide, measurable growth that we're seeing, the sustained satisfaction, expanding adoption, and all point to the data literacy program continuing to deliver tangible value while also broadening its impact across the state. Next slide. And then finally, this is just the selection of the data management demonstrations, collaborations, briefings that we have attended this past quarter. But with that, that concludes my update. Happy to answer any questions.
Sure. Thank you for the update. Going back to the white paper on data management, that information shared with state agency, specifically the chief data officer for each agency.
Yeah, the Data Management Advisory Committee members have been notified, and it's out there, and we've publicized it on LinkedIn as well. So yes, it's been made available, and talk about it as often as we can.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is an update in the Experience Office, Chief Experience Office. That also runs your traps.
It's very tricky. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Andy Silva. I'm the Chief Experience Officer for DIR, and I'm excited to present an update to you all today. As a reminder, the Chief Experience Office supports DIR's customer needs and the operations of DIR's programs. We do this through a three-pronged approach, focusing on customer experience, employee experience, and digital experience initiatives. We have built a CX strategy that allows us to help DIR programs look at ways to improve processes with the customer at the center. We do the same with employee experience, working with our People and Culture Office to improve employee experiences by seeing our employees as the customer. But we also help employees communicate and represent DIR with our brand elements, such as the PowerPoint slides that you see today. So finally, we monitor our DIR's digital experience across our digital channels, including social media and the DIR website. Next, please. On this slide, I provide some updates on our customer experience focus areas that we are working on. These activities we conduct internally with DIR divisions and externally with our agency customers. Quick few highlights here. Our collaboration with the People and Culture Office included a journey mapping of internal processes for employees. For the Voice of the Customer, we collaborated with our Shared Technology Services program on their annual customer satisfaction survey and shared some of our best practices at a workshop at DIR Discover. And then finally, real quick on our what we call CX as a service. It's really starting to gain traction. We were asked to do a journey mapping session for the IT division of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Division in November. And Parks and Wildlife Department in November, and are now in discussions with the Office of Public Insurance Council and the Texas Facilities Commission on future collaborations. But the CXO includes most of the outreach responsibilities for DIR programs. And these outreach activities included cybersecurity last quarter, where we spent most of the of our outreach on events and activities for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is every October. As those functions are moving to Cyber Command, the Texas Cyber Command, we anticipate that column, of course, to be eliminated. CXO also directs many of the outreach efforts for procurement and contracting, including 12 trainings on how to do business with DIR, 2 additional leveraging DIR webinars, and 4 procurement conferences across the state. So we're tracking pretty closely with our activity from last year on that. We also host technology guidance and education events for agency leaders. And last quarter, that included, of course, our big DIR Discover Conference, e-records conference that we work with the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, and the IT planning, reporting, and funding webinar. We also sponsor events with other partners, providing continuing education credits to our attendees, like the TASC State of the State Conference and other events with our vendor partners. Next slide, please. The statewide digital accessibility program helps state agencies make Texas government websites, IT, and technology services accessible to every Texan. In the last quarter, the online Teams community for that program grew to include 436 members, and that's up 60 members from last quarter. Our coffee chat attendance is averaging around 100 attendees per month, and we have 51 agencies participating in our web scanning program. And we continue to onboard state employees to our Level Access Academy for accessibility continuing education. We are doing a lot of outreach for this program, as we are seeing a lot of discussion and activity with accessibility, as we talked about it with our rules. But we are inching closer to that federal April 2026 deadline for accessibility compliance. So a lot of activity there. Next slide, please. And then here is a quick snapshot of our digital experience as our digital presence continues to grow. We have increased our followers. Every quarter, we increase our followers on LinkedIn and YouTube. And some quick stats on our website, where we're seeing an engagement with our website. The DIR Dash chatbot received over 2,000 inquiries last quarter. This is the automated way for our users to get quick answers to their questions 24/7 through an automated process. We also had 137 submissions through Ask DIR. This is not the automated way to get answers. This is actual a web content form that sends email to an actual DIR employee to get those questions answered. So we have the automated and the manual touch there. And then we received 134 feedback requests on our Qualtrics tool, and that is the tool that is overlaid on our website. And the way this works, users can select different ways of providing feedback, different nature of their feedback. They could provide satisfaction scores. They could talk about their purposes of the visit. They could tell us whether or not they were able to complete tasks, how they're seeing the navigation of the website. So very different submission feedback for that form. Of those, 13 users decided to provide feedback about their satisfaction last quarter. Only 5 of those expressed some dissatisfaction, and most of that was because they said they could not complete their task. And we don't know exactly what their task was. Might have had to take it offline or finish the task with offhand outside of the website. So even though this is not robust data, we are taking this opportunity to look at our website to see how we could help users get what they need a little bit more quickly. These are really helping us assess as we talk about our website modernization, especially with House Bill 5195 that Interim Executive Director Sauerhoff talked about earlier. So we really are using this to help improve our user experience overall. And thank you for your attention. I welcome any questions on any of my slides.
The Dash chatbot, are those automated responses entirely, or do push you to a real person like to ask DIR if there's not able to answer.
Yeah, if they are not able, if it says, you know, if there's a indication that the person is thumbs downing the responses, they direct us to ask DIR.
Roughly, do you know what the breakout is of self-satisfaction?
I have metrics on about 14% of Dash requests were not answered. So we've got a good majority that are the users are saying they're getting the answer that they want.
Is the goal to start having hope to see more go to a Dash than ask, or the Qualtrics, or they're kind of different functions?
Yes, and they're kind of like the flip side of the two coins. Those 2K inquiries are pretty much what we would probably see coming to Ask DIR if we didn't have that automated or anticipating. So we try to push to the Dash chatbot as much as possible because it scans our whole website. It could probably get a quicker response, but we always want to have that human in the loop to be able to answer specific. And those Ask DIR submissions, what we are seeing are they're very, very specific questions about very specific parts of our programs that Dash just won't have the answer to.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that concludes the formal agenda. Were there any public comment registrations, either online or in person? That is our feedback. At this time, no other agenda items. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting today?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move that we adjourn the meeting today.
May I have a second?
This is Frank Coppersmith, seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
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 This meeting is adjourned. Time is 11:35 a.m. Thank you very much, everyone.